Warriors have won, and they stay ahead of Minnesota and Memphis for another night. Final score, Golden State 123, and the LA Lakers 116.
I mean, this is what almost postseason basketball is all about. This is what the playoff push is coming down to. The Golden State Warriors find a way, with rest not on their side, the tail end of a 2-week, 6-game road game trip, and they go into Crypto.com Arena, a place that has not been kind to them, against a team that has not been kind to them. And they beat the Los Angeles Lakers here on Thursday evening by a final score of 123-116. For the second consecutive game, this is the win of the year. And it is a massive win for the Golden State Warriors. A win of the season, and it's a sign of what time of year it is. They're 45-31. They're holding on to the 5th seed right now in the Western Conference. A half game over Memphis, half game up on Minnie, 1 game back now of the Lakers for the 4th seed with 6 games left to play. And essentially, 2 games back behind the 3 seed because they're 1 game in the loss column behind the number 3 seed Denver. And Friday, the Nuggets hold the tiebreaker, but this is basically what it's coming down to. The Warriors picking up wins when they need it most against the teams they need it most. 888-957-9570 is the number. Evan Giddings with you on Warriors wrap-up after a magnificent victory for the Golden State Warriors. An important one, not just from the standpoint of it's a big win against a big opponent. It keeps everyone else at bay. The Memphis Grizzlies won tonight on a Ja Morant buzzer beater at the horn against the Miami Heat. And to put things in perspective about just how close everything is right now in the West, Memphis, before that shot went in from Ja Morant, were in 8th. That singular shot has vaulted them 2 places into 6th. If the Warriors had lost tonight, they would be in 8th right now. Or pardon me, would be in 7th, right behind Memphis. I mean, they would have turned this thing around, and the Lakers would have been uncatchable. So the difference between a win and loss tonight is huge for the Warriors. And that doesn't even scrape the surface of the individual performances that were necessary to get this game done. To me, this was, if you're talking about necessity, Tuesday night, Memphis got to get a game. First of 4, right? You play at the time, the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2. 4 straight teams that are of high quality that you're going to have to go through at some point in the playoffs, but also if you're going to get out of the play-in. That game against Memphis was one you had to get against a team that was reeling. While they turned it around tonight, they haven't been playing great overall. And they played out of desperation, and the Warriors weathered that storm 134-125. Tonight was a game that if you could get it, if you could dig deep and win, it does wonders not only for the standings, but I also think from this standpoint too, if you're looking at a playoff series and you're trying to figure out if the Warriors are a contending team or a team that has action, and you're trying to see, all right, well, how they could fare against this team in the first round, how they might be able to fare in a 7-game series against this group. This is a confidence-building win, the most as it pertains to the playoffs of the season. And the reason is, against Memphis, it was all about the big 3. Curry had 52. Jimmy nearly had 30. Draymond Green was awesome and had a triple-double. And while all 3 of those players, primarily Curry and Draymond, made their contributions tonight was about the other players. It was about the role players. And if you're going to win a playoff series, forget championships. If you're going to win 4 out of 7 against a high-quality opponent, which we have now come to know are littered throughout the Western Conference, you need your role players to step up. And we did not see that in Memphis. I talked about this on Warriors Live. To me, this game was not about Curry, Draymond, and Jimmy. Well, Steph ended up with 37. He was awesome in the second half. This game was about Podziemski. It was about Moody. And once we got the green light before the game, it also became about Jonathan Kuminga. And I thought all 3 of those players, but primarily Pods and Kuminga, they were sensational tonight. In many ways, this was the best games of those 2 individuals' careers, Podziemski and Kuminga, given the stakes, given the roles that they are now being asked to play, and given the time of the year and the intensity and the pressure and the physicality and the taxing nature of these basketball games, for those two players, Brandon Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga, to play the way that they did tonight, this is the best games of their young careers. Podziemski came out of the gates absolutely electric. 3 straight threes, none of them touched the rim. He was locked in from the jump. And considering, look, don't get me wrong, he made arguably the biggest play in the Memphis game at the time, which was the putback tip and the offensive rebound. But overall, he did not have a great game. Against Los Angeles, he was locked in from the start and was a big reason why the Warriors were able to jump out to a 13-point lead at half, because he had 22, 5 for 6 from downtown in the first half. And we'll get to some of the other players as well, but I really want to focus on Pods and Kuminga because to me, in many ways, those two players are the story. And in a lot of ways, because you know what you're going to get in the postseason on most nights from your big three, those are two players along with Moody. I would also throw Post, Buddy in there, but Buddy didn't play well tonight. Post was good in his first stint, didn't play as much in the second half. But if Podziemski and Kuminga and Moody give you the kind of level that we saw tonight, any three of them, and tonight it was Podziemski and Kuminga, if you get that level of play, you absolutely have an opportunity to win series because you cannot rely on Curry going for 52 every night. You cannot rely on a Draymond Green triple-double every night. You cannot rely on even Jimmy Butler, as we found tonight, was playing primarily through injury. He had the ankle injury against Memphis. He left for a large amount of time during the third quarter with a hand injury, according to Anthony Slater tonight, and ended up playing through it. But if Podziemski and Kuminga can give you that level of play, you are a team that absolutely has reason to believe that you can make some hay come postseason time. Because Pods with his 22 in the first half, 28 for the game. And Kuminga, I mean, quite simply, this is the best game. Certainly we've seen him play post-injury, but given the circumstance and given, I would even argue, the role that he's asked now to play as the sixth man off the bench, a guy that is given an opportunity to come in, he made an impact right from the jump that I have not seen since before the injury. And that was when he was playing a lot of minutes, when he was getting 30, and he knew that he was going to have ample opportunity. That's not the case anymore. And we can have an argument or a conversation about how it's fair, foul, somewhere in the middle. The fact remains that Kuminga is coming off the bench for this basketball team, and so his minutes are going to waver. Tonight, he closed for the first time since he came back post-injury in a game that was close, that was in crunch time, that was against a quality opponent. And he deserved every single second of what he got tonight because he was energetic, aggressive, ferocious. I would argue more so immediately on the glass, rebounding the basketball, and in his on-ball defense. That is what jumped out to me immediately to begin this basketball game. I thought Kuminga, they put him at the top of the key. He basically picked up whoever crossed half court to start the basketball game in his first stint, and then he flied for not one, not two, but 4 rebounds. In his first 7 minutes, he was a +7. He was the Warriors' best player in that first quarter. And that's the kind of tone that he set for himself across this game. I mean, looking at his total line, he stuffed every single part of the stat sheet. 18 points, 7 of 12 shooting, 1 of 3 from downtown. Yes, he did miss a couple of free throws, but more importantly, 9 rebounds and 4 assists. I thought Kuminga was awesome, and he did it all in 25 minutes. And if he continues to play like that, his minutes total is going to grow. Moody, I thought, was good tonight. He was certainly better, I thought, overall, his game through the full 48, the 29 that he played, than he was against Memphis. He hit the biggest shot, obviously, the dagger. But overall, his game was better tonight. Knocked down 3 of 6, hit some open threes, had a dunk taken off the board in the first quarter when he posterized Austin Reeves, and J.J. Redick had a challenge. It's just to ruin everyone's night. But also, Moody had three assists. He was picking up Doncic, who, God, I just did not think played very well whatsoever. I thought he was awful tonight, Luka Doncic, compared to what he is capable of. And Moses Moody was a big reason for that because he was the one who drew the initial assignment. But those two players, again, this game to me, it was about the confidence-building performance of the young players. Curry, he's had 37 in big games. Yeah, he hasn't had it a whole lot at crypto, which is ironically also why I thought that he was going to crack his over-under tonight. That was our lock of the night. Curry over 25.5 points. But you know that Curry's going to give you big performances. You know Draymond is going to be able to make big defensive plays like he did in the fourth quarter with 2.5 left, picking up LeBron James, who was scorching hot in the second half, making him drive left, getting him in the air, and then forcing a turnover. And then, of course, made the last strip, the final steal on Luka Doncic in a game that was not exactly going the Warriors' way. It was seesawing back and forth, but after going up by 11, the Lakers hit a couple of big shots off of Warriors turnovers. They trim it to eventually down to 7. Doncic has the ball driving to the cup with a chance to make it a 5-point game. And Draymond rips him clean, puts the hands up, gives almost like a kind of mask or I don't know if it was a glove. Shout out Gary Payton type of hand gesture. But 2 DPOY level plays from Draymond. You know you can get that. And even Jimmy Butler, I would say tonight was about the resilience of Butler because he was clearly playing through pain. And as soon as he comes out in his first stint after going to the locker room with the hand injury, he hits a 3-pointer from the corner and hit another 3-pointer late in the shot clock in the fourth quarter. So I thought Jimmy, his game was about resilience. All 3 of those players, you have an idea of what you're going to get. You don't always know what you're going to get from Pods, what you're going to get from Moody, what you're going to get from Kuminga, from Post, from Buddy. The younger players, and more importantly, the role players. And tonight, they absolutely stepped up. I thought they all were sensational. And that's why it was a team victory. 123-116, the Warriors walk into Crypto.com Arena. They beat the Los Angeles Lakers on their home floor. A place, by the way, the Lakers only lost 8 times this year. They're 29-9 at home. And the Warriors, 29-10 now at home. And the Warriors beat them on their home floor. 888-957-9570 is the number. Evan Giddings with you here on 95.7 The Game on Warriors Wrap-Up. Let's go out to Rich in Fremont. Rich, what's going on? Lead us off, man. How we doing?
What's up, Evan? You know, you and I, we've had a few late-night discussions after Warrior games, and you've been great to me, brother. You've been bringing me on, so I appreciate you. I appreciate your producer, man. You guys are great.
Cam's the man, Rich. You know.
But really, yeah. But at the end of the day, this is a quality win. It's a quality win. Why? Because of the timing. It's like, look, all guys in the Western Conference, 1 through 8, they all understand what this win means for the Warriors. And what does it mean? It means, hey, you know what? This is disastrous for 1 through 8. It is. If you're Golden State and you're in the middle of 1 through 8 in the conference right now, the other 7 teams, what are they thinking? Guys, we got a problem. And what is our problem? Our problem isn't OKC. Our problem isn't Denver. Our problem isn't the Lakers. Our problem is Golden State. Why? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because it's Golden State, and maybe because of Stephen Curry. And we know what these guys have done in the past. And if you give them an opportunity, they take it. And if they do, then guess what? That's a problem for us. Because it doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. Once the playoff starts, season starts over again. And hey, nobody cares what you did in the regular season. They only care about how you can maneuver inside the playoffs. And tonight was one of those games where even though the Lakers are Lakers, and even though their schedule and their system and, you know, the way they've been playing has been well, you lost to the Warriors. It doesn't matter how many games. It doesn't matter how. The main thing is you lost to a team who can get you. And guess what? That's hard to save face from. Because guess what? The NBA League is watching, and they saw what they saw tonight. And guess what? Because they have, you know what you did? You allowed the Warriors to be in position. And that's what you don't want to do going into the playoffs. Thanks, my brother.
Appreciate it, Rich. Good call, man. Yeah, the league's on notice. I mean, this was a nationally televised game. This is on TNT. And this was a game that, by the way, the Lakers did not go away. I mean, the Warriors, I thought, played pretty well, especially in the first half on the defensive end. There's no doubt that the Lakers missed a lot of shots. I think they missed 9 consecutive going into the end of the first quarter. They had a stretch like from, I want to say, the 5-minute mark until the end when they made like 1 field goal. They had one made field goal over an 8-minute stretch going into the second quarter. But I think it was also because the Warriors had a good game plan tonight, and that is we're just going to see if the Lakers can hit shots. More specifically, three-pointers. There was a point in this game, and I just want to make sure I get the total line correct, where, the Lakers took more threes than the Warriors did. I don't think the Lakers are a great three-point shooting team. Much like the Warriors, outside of Curry, I think they have a lot of streaky shooters. Austin Reeves was killing tonight, especially in the second half. But outside of him, he was 9 for 16. If you take him away, the Lakers as a whole went 9 for 31 from three-point range. LeBron hit 5 of 8. Hachimura hit 3 of 6, and that was it. There was no one else that can hit a three. And even Hachimura and LeBron is a much improved three-point shooter. He's close to 38% now on the season. But that's a guy that you can kind of live with taking a lot of threes, because where he really hurts you and where I thought the Warriors did themselves a disservice is when they allowed him to infiltrate and get into the paint. LeBron had, I think, 14 or 16 points in that third quarter alone, and the majority of which were in the paint. You know, the Warriors held the Lakers to just 12 paint points in the first half. And I thought it was because they clogged things. Even though they're small, they contested, they rotated well, and they did a relatively good job of rebounding up until sort of late in that third quarter and into the fourth. I think they only had, after the first quarter, the Lakers had 8 offensive rebounds, and they only had 2 offensive rebounds in the second quarter and through the majority of the third. So the Warriors really shored up themselves on the glass. I thought Kuminga was a big part of that. Draymond was a big part of that. And overall, the Warriors, I mean, look, they did what they had to do on the boards. And against a Lakers team that, I think we discussed this coming in, they're bigger, they have more size, but they also kind of play, just 4 or 5 wings if you include Austin Reeves. Doncic, Reeves, Finney-Smith, Hachimura, James. That's kind of the 5 that they play. Jackson Hayes only played 15 minutes in this game. Ironically, the Lakers were a little bit better when Hayes was on the floor. He was a +3, but they got absolutely shredded when Finney-Smith and Vincent came in off the bench. And it's because Finney-Smith couldn't hit a 3. Gabe Vincent couldn't hit a 3. And those are their swing players. And their swing players didn't show up. Their streaky shooters didn't show up outside of the starting lineup, and really outside of the 3 guys that we mentioned. Meanwhile, the Warriors got contributions from all over the place. They shot 45% from 3. Pods hit 8. Curry, only 4, but Draymond hit a couple. Kuminga hit 1. Moody hit 3. Butler knocked down 1. So they had shooters all over the place and weren't reliant on one place or really 1 or 2 people. 888-957-9570 is the number. Evan Giddings with you on Warriors Wrap-Up. Let's go out to Berkeley, one of my favorite places. Talk to Shaka. Shaka, what's up, man?
What's up, big dog?
How we doing?
Great game. I'm blessed, man. I'm really blessed now seeing that victory, man. That's a lot of motivation, man. Hey, man, I want to look at the trade, man. The 2 trades that were made, Jimmy Butler and them losing a big man. And that showed tonight because we were able to get the rebounds. And without him, the other guy's a great scorer, but he's not athletic like that. So we can go put something. I think Moses Moody is a hard guard for him. I think Gary Payton would be a hard guard for him going down the stretch. So, with us getting Jimmy Butler, who makes us play smoother, we're faster. We move the ball. We play a better team basketball game with him. And with him losing a big man, it makes And Kuminga had 9 rebounds. Stoney always say he doesn't rebound. He had 9 rebounds. He was explosive. And this is the Kuminga that we've been waiting for and that we need. And then you also got to look at that. Gary Payton Jr. didn't even play, man. So the sky's are the limits, man. It's looking up for us, man.
I'm 100% with you. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be optimistic about this team. This team was dead in the water 26 games ago, or was it 25 games ago? Because now they're 20-5 since the trade, 20-4 with Jimmy Butler on the court. and they have completely flipped this season on its head. They're the 5 seed in the Western Conference, a place I did not think that they would be. And they have not been really since they started out 13-2 to begin the season, which feels like eons ago. But this win again tonight, to me, if you're looking at what they did on Tuesday, that was a necessary win. Tonight, in many ways, also is necessary because of the standings, because Minnesota beat Denver in double OT, because they survived Brooklyn tonight, because Memphis had a buzzer-beating win against Miami. But if the Warriors had lost to the Lakers, I'm not sure we would be up here throwing stones. We would be disappointed. People would be not happy. But based on the fact that the Lakers had not played before tonight, you got to go back to Sunday, the last time they played a game. They had 3 days to rest at home. The Warriors flew cross-country from Memphis after playing down to the wire 2 nights ago, where Jimmy Butler played 38 minutes, Curry played 37, Draymond played almost 35. And it's the final game of a 6-game road trip. They've been away from home for 2 weeks. They're at wit's end. And they come up with their backs against the wall, and they come out firing against Memphis on Tuesday and against the Lakers here tonight. I thought it was the most impressive performance that they have put together this season. I thought it was the most wholesome performance they put together this season. And it's one that if you're looking for ways to win a 4-game series, you have now in back-to-back games beat playoff caliber opponents. Yes, the Grizzlies are not great against teams above 500. The Lakers, they are. The Lakers have reason to believe that they got action in the West. And the Warriors, on the heels of taking care of Memphis, went into the Lakers building and beat them on the road. Which is, oh, by the way, if you look at where the West stacks up right now, what the Warriors will have to do in a couple of weeks, or if the season ended today. If the Warriors ended the season today, they would travel right back. They would actually stay in Los Angeles and play at Crypto.com Arena against the Los Angeles Lakers in Game 1. And if they stun a team in Game 1, all you got to do is get one. All you got to do is get one. And in a playoff series, they have now beat 2 playoff teams on the road back-to-back. They got a real tough test again tomorrow against Denver, but it doesn't take away how impressive tonight was. Let's go to Roque in Alameda. Wants to talk about pods. Roque, what's up, man? You're on Warriors Wrap-Up.
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, it's a good game tonight. It's a good win. You know, I never thought Baczynski will be the second man tonight, okay? Well, that was, Lakers didn't expect that, okay? My take here tonight is, thank God, AD is not playing tonight. I'm being sarcastic, I'm sorry. If he was there, we would have lost probably. Maybe we would have lost 4. Because I think we lost 3 with him in there, right?
Yep.
Anthony Davis. But anyway, you know what? The game tonight was very, very good. And I'm going to take this to Steve Kerr. I think he pushed the right button tonight, okay? And, you know, he took one of those guys out. He clipped one of the wings off, especially Doncic. That guy there, he did, you know, he scores, but he is not the real Doncic that I usually see. You know, the fake, all this showboat throwing behind the back, all that. He didn't do no magic, anything that was spectacular. But tonight, I mean, Baczynski, Curry, and Butler, Green, they put the whole Warriors in there tonight. I am so proud of that. I was, you know, when they cut it down to five points, I said, oh, my God, please, don't do this again. But somehow they pulled it together, and I was so happy with that. And now, I don't know, tomorrow we'll find out tomorrow when to play Denver. You know, we get that tomorrow, and we could say, yeah, this is the Warriors who could go all the way. Okay, thank you for taking my call.
Thanks, Roque. Yeah, the first part about your statement, I think a lot of people are kind of with you. The 909, Luka was a disappointment tonight. And I think someone else brought it up before. The fact that Anthony Davis is no longer in this team is absolutely a big deal. 909, Luka's not in shape and slow. Yeah, I thought when they made the trade that the Lakers actually, for this season, they got better long term. You know, Luka Doncic is a 25-year-old superstar. Anthony Davis is not. But I thought the Lakers got worse for this season, and it appears if you're playing the Warriors, like Anthony Davis is a matchup problem for Golden State. We've seen that for the past few seasons, dating back to their postseason loss in 22. But it's also why I said pregame, this is a Lakers team that's a better matchup for the Warriors because Luka Doncic is a team that they have had success against. I know he torched them earlier this year. He's going to have his big games, but overall, he's a freaking traffic cone on defense. You can put him in action and attack him relentlessly, and he's not someone that is a penetrating guard, which has really been the Achilles heel of the Warriors' defense. If you can find someone a la Ja Morant, who we saw Tuesday, or maybe Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or if you go down the list of guards that can get to their spots and that are quick, the Warriors have trouble against them. Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard. Like, you can go to the list. Luka Doncic is not one of those guys. It doesn't mean he's not an awesome player, but the Warriors have figured out ways to neutralize him and to hold him in check. And I do think that if the Warriors played the Lakers in the playoffs, it's not a team that they fear anymore. I think they fear them with Anthony Davis, but he don't play for them anymore. He's in Dallas. All right, let's go to AB in Chicago. Wants to talk about the game tonight. Warriors win 123 to 116 at Crypto.com Arena. AB, what's up, my man? How's the Shy?
I'm doing good, bro. How you been?
Oh, fantastic, man.
But the game was unbelievable. My favorite part of the game was Draymond Green stole the ball from Luka. That was an insane game right there. And that was crazy. You know how Warriors, we lost by Lakers from our home court? Now we beat the Lakers on their home court. And we came back. We came strong. That's all we need. And another one is Jimmy Butler did a fantastic job in the end as well. So that's all my question is.
I'm sorry, what?
Never mind, I'm sorry. That's the end of my question. Sorry.
Oh, gotcha. Thanks, AB. Appreciate the call. 888-957-9570 is the number. Evan Giddings with you on Warriors Wrap-Up here on 95.7 The Game. Yeah, I mean, look, the Lakers are a team that I think in regards to the Warriors, they're less fearful of them now with Luka Doncic than Anthony Davis. And I think we saw why tonight. But overall, to me, this game is more about the Warriors than it is about the Lakers. You know, if you're thinking about where the Warriors can go, what they can do, I thought this was a very important game, and it was mostly for the young players. You know, in particular, Brandon Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga. I think this was maybe perhaps the most important game of their young careers. You know, Jonathan Kuminga has had a lot of time out of the game because he's been hurt, and he has struggled since he's come back. And tonight, I thought he looked like a completely different player than the one we've seen since the return from his ankle injury. He was locked in. And if the Warriors, you know, it doesn't mean all of a sudden he's going to be playing 35 minutes, and you need to see this more consistently. But I don't want to take away from what he did tonight because he's been unnecessarily catching hell, it feels like, really since he's come back from injury. Like, he's messing up the mojo, and he's been getting blamed for all the Warriors' shortcomings when they've lost these games. And you got to give him his flowers tonight. The guy was unbelievable. I mean, he looked like the Warriors' most athletic player, but in a way that was conducive to winning. And we've seen it before, and I think we'll see it again. And maybe this is something that can help him turn the corner as the Warriors' sixth man. And it's why I believe that he's someone that can help take the Warriors over top. You see down the stretch just what the Warriors can do with him on the floor. You can put him in pick and roll. You can make him the roller. Defensively, he can do enough to stay in front of guys. And if he's rebounding the ball the way he was tonight, then he also adds an extra set of hands. Draymond doesn't have to do everything. Jimmy doesn't have to do everything down low. And it's an extra body that's young, that's powerful, that's forceful. I thought Kuminga was awesome tonight. All right, we're going to step aside, come back and take a little break. We're going to hear from Steve Kerr in just a moment, but I do want to line up calls if you got any. 888-957-9570 is the number. Here on Warriors Wrap-Up on 95.7 The Game, 123 to 116. Warriors win at Crypto.com Arena. We're back after this.
Crossing half court, let it fly. He made sure that he got it off quick enough, give it a chance to go in. And Podziemski with a 22-point first half.
Now back to Warriors Wrap Up on 95.7 The Game.
Yeah, Pods on the, by the way, the call there by Tim Roy of Podziemski's best Steph Curry impression. 50-foot heave at the horn. And it capped an incredible first half for Brandon Podziemski. He had 22 points, 5 of 6 from downtown. He had 8 threes in this basketball game. And that a season high, by the way, or a career high, by the way, for a half. 22 points from Brandon Podziemski. An awesome night when the Warriors really needed it. Outside of him, they sort of struggled offensively. Steph obviously ends up with 37, but he only had 12 at the half. Had 25 in the second half when the game slowed, got to the free throw line 14 times. The Warriors as a whole somehow, even in Los Angeles, outshoot the Lakers at the free throw line 26 out of 31 to 20 of 23. And Pods, I thought, was unbelievable tonight. I think his best game so far that I've seen him play, honestly, in his career. Philmo Mike's in San Francisco. Philmo, kick us off here. What's going on, man? How we doing?
Yo. I'm actually in the town, but it's all love. But listen, great game from Pods. One of the best games I've ever seen from Pods. And he's playing hell of basketball. Kuminga, who said we didn't need, somebody was like, oh, we don't need Kuminga. Okay, he can't play. He can't make his basketball IQ to pass to Looney. Perfect. It was a good look. But earlier I said, we just need a team effort. And I loved in our own way, everybody on the team that played, they made a key effort. I could see us matching up with the Lakers. Luka didn't have a great game, but maybe that was because of the defense. You know what I'm saying? LeBron, he picked out his spots of when to attack, and he's very smart and deliberate when to do so. Jimmy Butler seemed like he's just kind of like waiting in the cuts and just kind of like trying to like figure out when to pick his spots, but he did seem kind of injured and hurt, but he played a hell of a game. And what can you say about Draymond? Draymond's been playing his ass off. Defensive player of the year, I think so. One of those, he did it in a big time moment. So that helps. And, man, team effort. I don't want to hear nobody talking about Steve Kerr tomorrow. I don't want to hear nobody talking about minutes from Kuminga or Moody and all that craziness. Santos did his thing. Post did his thing. Hell of a game, Pods. And Curry, come on, man. You already know Curry's the face of the league, not LeBron, like my sister said.
I like that, Philmo. Good one to end on. Yeah, I mean, look, he follows 52 with 37, and they needed it in a game that, again, based on what happened earlier tonight, Minnesota winning against Brooklyn, Memphis winning at the Horn, the Warriors would have been dropped 2 spots if they had lost this game. It quickly turned from a game that you would like to get and would like to prove something to a game that almost became a must-win. That's why it's a massive victory. It's about a 3-seed flipping win. They're in 5th place now, a game out of 4th. Maybe even with 6 left, a chance to overcome, to jump the Los Angeles Lakers. It's going to take some doing, but the Warriors 2 weeks ago, I just wanted them to stay out of the play-in. And that still is a place they could be if they drop a couple upcoming against a very good Denver team tomorrow night and then Houston on Sunday, along with some games that are not necessarily sugar-coated, and then you get the Clippers next Sunday. But, a couple Sundays from now in the final game of the season. But the Warriors are a team that now has a chance to maybe get out and host a first-round series. That's incredible. And it's a testament to the kind of work that they've put in. Phil also mentioned Steve Kerr. I'm sure there'll be some talk about him tomorrow, but it's mainly going to be about the players. So let's hear from the head coach right now if we can, Cam. Here's Steve Kerr after the 123-116 win against the Lakers.
What did you make of the way the closing lineup performed tonight?
They did a good job. I thought the Lakers were amazing. I mean, Austin Reeves and LeBron, they had to hit 5 or 6 threes in the last 5 minutes that were just incredible shots. And they kept them in it, but our guys, stayed poised, did what they needed to do to win the game.
You were able to hold Luka to a pretty inefficient night. What were you guys doing that was making his life so difficult?
Nothing. I mean, we just were trying to stay in front of him. I like that He only shot 23 free throws, and I think 9 of them were on plays where we just got our hand in and they drew them, and so it wasn't like we were out of position. We played really good position defense, tried to stay in front. He missed some shots that he'll make, I'm sure next game or next time we play them, but you just try to stay in front. He's an amazing player, and there's not a whole lot you can do.
You mentioned switching a lot. They also switched a ton defensively, and it seemed like you guys had a lot of success hunting, certain matchups. How valuable is it to be able to toggle your offense and have success in that manner?
Yeah, it's, just freeing Steph up with screens, getting him downhill. He got to the line 14 times tonight, which might be a season high. I don't know, but that's a lot for him. But being able to play both through Steph and through Jimmy and attack switches, with different guys, in different circumstances was really key.
You mentioned Kuminga playing kind of, the way y'all need him to. You haven't had him, in this specific role really since Jimmy's been here. How significant does he bump up maybe like what you guys can be if he can do that, in specific? Yeah,
I just think that with his talent, his ability to get us some easy baskets, and if you can rebound, like he did tonight, it's huge for us. And, I think every game is going to be different, and every game we just have to figure out what we need to do to win, and that's his job. It's every player's individual job, and it's our job collectively to do that, to figure it out and to go do it. And that's what I'm really enjoying watching right now, is just the collective sense of just win, just go out and win. Nothing else matters.
And Kuminga was crashing the boards tonight. Brought to you by Chilton Auto Body, the Bay Area leader in collision repair. 9 rebounds tonight for Jonathan Kuminga. 11 rebounds for Draymond Green, a team high, and overall a sensational win for the Warriors. Big win for them last night tonight against the Lakers, 2 nights ago against Memphis. And these 2 wins in a row are wins that you can put together, look at, and say, all right, this is a team that, yes, before that they were 18-5. They had won a lot with Jimmy Butler. But these 2 most quality wins of the first 25 that they've played together, there's substance here. Also, by the way, their small ball starting 5 that everyone has been saying is too little, too brittle, 13-0 together, and beating a Memphis team that has a 7-footer as its center, 6'10" power forward. Jackson Hayes is big. Overall, they don't have a player, the Lakers tonight, aside from Austin Reeves, that is below 6'5" in their starting lineup. And the small ball lineup for the Warriors still managed to beat them. And it's because something that Kerr has talked about continuously is Jimmy Butler clarifying the roles of all of these players. While Butler was not as much of a factor tonight, I do think what we saw this evening was the roles coming into clarity. We saw Curry, who obviously led the way with 37 points, 25 of which in the second half. But he got help from a different player in the first. And tonight, it was Brandon Podziemski and also Jonathan Kuminga. Those 2 guys played their roles to near perfection tonight. And that's why, as much as Kuminga's had more points, Podziemski, may have knocked down more shots. He's actually had a career high of 29. So if you look at those 2 guys, that to me is what this game is about, and that's why this win is so impressive. Because if you're trying to figure out how you're going to win in a 4-game series, yes, you're going to need Curry to play well. You're going to need Draymond to make a strip like he did down the stretch against Luka Doncic. You're going to need him to grab rebounds, play defense on LeBron, and those kinds of caliber players. You're going to need Jimmy Butler to play 36 minutes and get 3 steals like he did tonight. But you're also going to need the others to come up huge. And while it isn't always going to be Pods and Kuminga's night, tonight it was. And that's what gives me more confidence in this team to also perhaps steal one from Denver tomorrow. Or maybe against Houston, pick one up against a very good Rockets team, is because the roles are becoming clearer for the players not named Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. Pods has never looked more confident in his role as the starting 2. Moses Moody understands his role as the starting forward, picking up the number one option on another team like Luka Doncic, knocking down open threes, trying to attack the paint and get to the free throw line like he did tonight. And even though he didn't have an explosive game, Jonathan Kuminga coming off the bench, he looked like he embraced his role as the sixth man of this basketball team more than I have ever seen him do. The most efficient 18 points in 25 minutes that I've seen. The 9 rebounds, 2 offensive, 4 assists, playing roller, dumping off to Looney, giving it to other players and making the correct passes, decisive, quick plays from Kuminga. Those other role players have embraced their role, and that's why, if you're looking at this Warriors team, they are as scary as ever because Steph still has the ability to go for 52 and then follow it up with 37 like he did. Draymond has the ability to make DPOY level plays. Jimmy can be the glue to both of them on both ends of the floor. But when Moody, Podziemski, Kuminga, and to a further extent, you throw in Post, Santos, and Hield, when all of those players are playing within their roles, which have now become more clarified, that's when you think about this team being a potential contender. And they're going to have to continue to prove it. Again, bigger test tomorrow in Denver. Biggest test on Sunday perhaps against Houston. But the roles being clarified are why this team looks so dangerous to me. And on a night like tonight, those players embracing their roles are the reason why they beat the Lakers on the road. All right, that's our final note for tonight. Got to condense the postgame a little bit here and get us out of here a little bit earlier than usual. But make sure to tune in bright and early tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Joe Spadoni, Joe Shasky got you on the morning roast. Our guys from the midday, Steiny and Guru, are going to be very excited from 10 to 2. And then, of course, Wilder and Dibbs from 2 to 6, all right here on 95.7, the game before the Warriors. No rest for the weary. They got a head back, 11:30 flight, maybe a 12 o'clock flight back to the Bay, and get up and then play the Denver Nuggets, who are well-rested, sitting at the Four Seasons with Nikola Jokic and company, and they're going to be ready for him tomorrow. So 24 hours from now, the Warriors got another big game, and then Sunday against Houston. But for tonight, it is all smiles as the Warriors walk into Crypto.com Arena and beat the Los Angeles Lakers by a final score of 123-116. They hold the 5 seed by a half game. They are 1 game out of the 4 seed in the West. For my guy Cam Williams, our network coordinator, big thank you to Cam. Big thank you to Chris O'Connell cutting it and everything for us here back in our studios. Everyone behind the scenes does fantastic work that you all may not see, but you absolutely hear, and I think it shines bright every single pre- and post-game show. My name is Evan Giddings saying so long from the Laughing Monk Studios, righteously brewed in San Francisco. Big thank you to everyone who has called in, everyone who has texted in, everyone who has chimed in on YouTube and Twitch, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. My name is Evan Giddings, and I'll talk to you next time right here on your home for Golden State Warriors basketball, 95.7 The Game.